debate. Further debate. The member from Timiskaming Cochrane.
Thank you, Speaker. It's always an honour to be able to stand in this House and today to speak on M193 door-to-door sales prohibition. I'd like to start off by saying I am full support of this bill. And this isn't the first type of this bill that's been brought to the House, because our member from Kenora Rainy River also brought a bill forward trying to ban door-to-door sales of electricity contracts, which in our part of the world is they prey upon seniors, they prey upon the people who aren't equipped to know what's really what. And I know that for a fact, Speaker, because recently I had to help move my mom. She was living on her own, and she moved into a retirement home. So we helped clean up her affairs for her home. And lo and behold, my mom was paying twice as much for electricity as she should have, because my mom had signed a door-to-door electricity contract without my knowledge. That happens all the time, and we should have moved on this before.
My wife wants to.
My dad, often I quote my dad in this House. He would turn over in his grave if he knew that. But and he once told me, he says, if you don't have to go to the store to buy it, you don't need it. You know, no one's going to show up at your door. Sometimes people would say, politicians as well, no one's going to show up to your door and with the great idea that if you hadn't thought about it this morning to buy it, all of a sudden at 10 o'clock you have to buy it because it's the best thing that's ever happened to you. That's just not true. You know, and that's an issue. And I have another personal story. I'm not going to mention the company. I have 3 daughters, and all 3 of them worked for the same high-pressure door-to-door sales type company.
Shame.
And 2 of my daughters made a lot of money doing it, and one was no good at it at all. But they train specifically how to do this. They train specifically where to pick, who to pick, and there's certain markers that they say, oh, this one's kind of a waste of time. This one, you know, and it's very, very specific. They put time into this. And again, you know, it's very sophisticated. It's not the same as going into a store or even looking on, if you're going to look on the internet to buy something, you are still taking the initiative to go look yourself. And that's the difference to me. And that's why I think this bill is a step in the right direction. As the member for Kenora Rainy River with electricity retailers, there's all kinds of these scams going on, for lack of a better word, all across the province. And I know when I first got elected 5 years ago, our constituency offices in my riding were busier breaking electricity contracts than anything else. And then it morphed into trying to figure out Hydro One billing, but that's another whole story. But
I was trying to beat the government away from them.
But electricity contracts were, and these were, you know, lots of times you'd have to call yourself and say, okay, you know, and then they'd back off. But they were very, very aggressive, unbelievably aggressive. There's a scam right now going on where people call you up and they're with Revenue Canada, and you haven't paid enough tax, and that you need to give them your credit card number. That's going on as we speak. And again, when you say, well, that's crazy, and I'm not going to do it, but there's my mom would. Yeah. My mom would. You know, and I shouldn't have said that because maybe now they're going to phone her. But that is the issue we're dealing with, and I think that's what this bill is trying to attack. That's what the bill that the member from Kenora Rainy River is trying to attack. But I've got to bring one thing to the end of my remarks here.
Carry on.
End of my remarks. No, I'm about done.
Oh, jeez. Really?
This is a private member's bill, and I commend the member for bringing it. But this isn't, the other side isn't the private member's government. They are the government, and they can move on that.
Yep.
They can move on that much quicker than a private member can. And I urge the government to take this initiative, and whether it's got Mr. Baker's name on it or anyone, it doesn't matter to me. And I don't think it matters to the member. but it matters to us all that people in this province are treated fairly and with respect, and that they aren't purposely gouged. And we all know this is going on. I see members on the other side of the House nodding. I see members on this side of the House, some of them nodding. We all know this is going on. The government has within their grasp, within their power, to do it. They could have done it a year ago. They could have done it 2 years ago. They could have done it 5 years ago. I believe they've been in power, correct me if I'm wrong, for a dozen years.
Way too long.
So, my color commentator here. But I urge the government, there's one thing that we have to move on, because they are, when they prey on seniors, they prey on low-income people. I know when lots of times you have single moms and they're really busy just trying to hold on to their life, taking care of their kids, and someone shows up, oh, have we got a great deal on this, and this is going to save you all this money? And you know what? They don't have time to read the fine print, and it looks good, and they sign, and all of a sudden they're trapped. We all know this is going on. I commend that member. I hope that he can push his government to finally act on this important issue.